Uh, Hi guys, uh, this is my first time making a video, and I want to talk about the economy. Everyone, we all agree that the economy is in complete shambles right now, and who's responsible for it? So the short answer would be Narendra Modi government. You know, of course they're responsible, but if you really think it through, the the people who are responsible for what is currently happening with regards to the economy in our country is the people who are responsible for it. It's us. It's us. We are responsible for it, not because we elected Narendra Modi as our prime minister. That's one reason, but that's not the main reason. So let's just recap what has led to this complete disaster of a situation. So I think a good place to start is the demonetization uh, debacle. That what it was. Uh, what happened? So before demonetization, we were growing something around 7.9% per annum rate. I think something close to that. Then suddenly, our dear Prime Minister announced demonetization. 85% of the currency was taken out of circulation, and what followed, the effect of which is still persistent. So, what really happened? Why did he do it? Well, the first initial explanation was that he wanted to, uh, you know, come down heavily on black money or something nonsense like that. And the people cheered him, right? People cheered him on. Everyone was happy that okay, fine, we have to endure some hardship for like a month or two, but you know what? Those rich pricks, they're going to pay for it. Finally, they're going to pay for what they've done to our economy. So herein lies the problem. Okay, but I'll come back to this a little bit, just a little later. And then the botched up GST implementation took place. That was another disaster because I think it's safe to say that our dear departed finance minister, Mr. Arun Jaitley, he was probably the worst finance minister we have had in a long time. In a long time. I mean, just he. Okay. His argument was you cannot tax a Mercedes Benz and a sandal at the same tax rate. That was his argument. So, say for instance, I don't really have the facts right in my with me right now. That what was the tax rate of luxury cars, but I think it was, I don't know, either it was 28% or 40%. I don't really remember, but it was higher. It was not the same as that of like a shoe or something. So he said that because luxury cars are something that only rich people buy, so those need to be taxed at a higher rate. So in effect, what he did was manipulate consumer behavior. He assumed that, you know, I mean, there is a thing called upward social mobility. People want to buy things. People want to, you know, they want to become more capable. They want to become more wealthy. It's natural that people want to become more wealthy. But Arun Jaitley, I guess, didn't understand that. So you have multiple GST rates when, I mean, an overwhelming consensus of economists economists at that time was that the GST rate should be a single rate GST. Like, I mean, there's something like that, that the essential items should be taxed at 0% rate. The other things you can tax them at 12 to 15% rate, something in between, or maybe 12. I was hoping it was be 12. There's no need to tax any good heavily. So that was one. So what is it? What's going on? So the economic slowdown is because of a slowdown in consumption, a slowdown in consumption, a dip in demand, whatever you want to call it. Why is that? That's a good question. Why is that? Why has that happened? Well, for one thing, because of this two reasons, the GST and the demonetization thing. Investor confidence was, hit, and they started taking out money from the market. That's one. And after the government won, the election, the Modi government won the election, came back to power, and then everybody was they were really hopeful about the new budget. They were hoping that there would have been something in the budget that would be, that would boost investor confidence. And people like me who were a little bit fiscally conservative, we were expecting something like lowering of tax rates and less regulation and all those things. None of which happened. What you got was mandatory CSR, which is absolute nonsense. I don't understand what CSR is. Corporate social responsibility. I know what the acronym stands for, but it's absolute nonsense. Because the only responsibility a corporation should have is to pay its taxes at time. That's it. They have to run a business. Why are bank employees cleaning roads and planting trees? Those things are they're not there for that. If they're working at a bank, what they should be doing is provide banking services to other people. That's what they're paid to do. Cleaning up roads, that's the municipality's job. And what they did with this corporate social responsibility bullshit is that they somehow, I think, outsource that job to this poor saps in the corporate sector. That's what they did. So that's nonsense. And there was a jail term also if you did not comply with the CSR requirements and all those things. So and that our current finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman had to roll back, because that further hampered the investor confidence. So an amalgamation of a lot of bad decisions has led us to this place where, because think about it, when will demand rise? When you have a lot of money to spend. Not a lot, at least some money to spend. In other words, when you have disposable income. When you have disposable income, you buy things. So how will you have disposable income, more and more disposable? And one way is that you lower the taxes. The other way is that you find a way to get a high-paying job, right? So lowering the taxes was one thing that was in the government's control. They did not do it. I'm sorry to say, they did not do it, fearing that the revenues would dip. How is that working out for you guys? I mean, the tax revenue has not really improved that much. Okay, so that's one thing. But now let's go back to the reason why the demonetization happened. Like I said, a lot of poor people, they cheered on when this thing happened, and we as Indians, we need to become better class of citizens. We just love to hate the rich. You know, we just love it. We love to hate the rich. We think that every rich person is a crook, has ill-gotten wealth that he or she does not deserve. Some of the time that's true, as you can see in the recent PMC Bank scam. That happens. It doesn't mean everyone is. I'll give you an example. Just recall what happened during Mukesh Ambani's his daughter's wedding. At the time of her wedding, a lot of celebrities came in and all of this happened. He spent a lot of money and people were like, "Oh my God, why are you spending all this money? Why aren't you giving that?" I saw a tweet by this guy from the Congress party saying that Mukesh Ambani should have donated all that money to some temple or something. Oh, come on, who does that? Do we do it? We middle class Indians, we do it. If we as Indian, weddings are a big thing in our culture. We try to spend as much as we can on weddings. So sometimes people spend their entire life savings on a single wedding. So let's just not create standards for people that we ourselves are not willing to abide by. So let's keep that out of the equation. We just hate the rich. So in order to punish them, in order to take their money, that's what that is. That's what we want. We don't want the rich people to be rich. When we see a guy pull up maybe a very expensive car, and we automatically think that, oh my God, he is a rich son of a bitch, so he must have done something wrong to get that kind of money. That's not always true. A country that doesn't respect its wealth creators, and a lot of rich people are wealth creators, we are not going to go anywhere. Because people in India, we love free stuff, subsidies, loan waivers, words like this make us come. Words like this make us come like anything. This is not economics. If you want to better your financial position, learn how to create wealth. Create wealth yourself, or learn from the people who have made something of themselves. Don't hate them. Don't try to rob them of their wealth. And this is exactly what happened. We have a huge tax rate. I mean, the highest tax. The people who earn the most in this country, like from I think 2 crores to 5 crores, that bracket of people, they end up paying like 42.7% of tax. Tell me one thing. Nobody wants to live in poverty, right? But if you see that the richer you get, the more the government will take away from you, what incentive do you have to become rich? You don't. That's why I always support a flat tax rate. Now, how practical that is in a country like India, where there is a lot of shortage of revenue, that's a separate discussion. But I think we can all agree that the tax rate, what it is today, it should be lower. Lower tax rate just means that your tax net will increase. Ultimately, you will have more money pulling in. Same with the GST. You make the GST a single rate GST, make it easy for compliance, then people will, your revenue will increase. This is basic economics. And I am not an economist. I have I don't hold a degree in economics or anything, but this is so basic, so common that we have to be better than this. We have to hold the government accountable for the stupid decisions that it makes, and we suffer the consequences. I mean, just think about it. What do you think? That if you punish the rich people, by taxing them more, you're going to gain anything? No. These guys are wealth creators. They know how to create wealth. If you're going to punish them by, charging a higher tax rate, they're just gonna pack up their stuff and just leave. They'll migrate to a different country, set up their business there, and well, there you go. Bob's your uncle. Who's gonna be on the losing side? The middle class and the poor, because those are the people who work for the rich people. And people like me, middle class people, we can't afford to just pack up and leave. We need to have something. We need to make a living here in India. So in order to punish the rich, the government, what it did was they ended up hurting the most vulnerable, the poor and the middle class. So if you're really, the reason I made this video is because it's frustrating to see what's going on. And this is my opinion. You have complete freedom to disagree with every single point that I have made, and that's okay. I just want to put it out there that we have to take responsibility for what we did. Politicians, they just want to get re-elected, and this is not just true for India, it's true everywhere. They just want to get re-elected. They'll do anything to get re-elected, and if making the rich people suffer is the way to go, they'll do it regardless of the consequences. So I'm just requesting to whoever watching this video, if you're an Indian, be concerned. This is your country. We should not be gamble with our own future. Respect the wealth creators, of course, not the people who steal from us and then just escape. No, not those people, of course not. But not everyone is like that. Not everyone. The person, say for instance, whoever is watching this video, if tomorrow you get a good job and you have a very good income and you are considered one of the top 1% or top 10% of the people in the economic strata, so to speak, if someone, and that you have got to that position by sheer hard work and determination and a lot of sacrifices, how would you feel if someone just comes up and tells you in your face that you're a thief or you're a crook, that your success doesn't matter because you didn't earn it? How would you feel? So we need to stop this nonsense. Just don't try to rob the wealth creators of their wealth. Learn from them to how to create wealth, and of course pay your fair share in taxes, of course, but don't hurt the economy like this. Populism gets us nowhere. We need real reform. Thanks for watching. I guess that's all I wanted to say.